Welcome to the Big Ranch Show. I just wanted to bring something to you right quick that I thought needed to be covered. Sorry about the quality here. If you have any problems seeing anything, I am sorry. I'm trying to do something a little different, trying to do this outside as opposed to inside, and trying to actually maybe, see what else can work with this whole thing. So excuse me if I'm having a few problems here. This is something different for me. I don't do live very often. But anyhow, I wanted to just talk about Ted Cruz and his misrepresentations that he is presenting about the past for the person he's running against, which is Beto O'Rourke out of El Paso here in the Senate race here in Texas. Now, many of you may not know anything about this race because it's a state race here for Senate, but many of you may know who Beto O'Rourke is, and you may have already seen some of the attack ads and misrepresentations that the Cruz campaign has put out there. Now, first off, Ted Cruz is telling people, hey, this guy isn't who he claims to be, saying that his name, Beto, is just an appropriation of Hispanic culture, which is not the case at all. It's actually a blatant lie by the Cruz campaign. First off, Ted Cruz is not named Ted Cruz. That is, there again, a nickname, much like Beto is with Beto O'Rourke. Does Ted Cruz run with his real name? No, he doesn't. Is Beto running with his real name? No, he's not. But it's a nickname he was given years ago, much like Ted Cruz. I truly don't believe Ted Cruz decided to pick his name Ted simply so he would sound white, considering his father is Cuban. I don't believe that's what the purpose behind it. I believe it was a given nickname, and same thing with Beto O'Rourke. I believe that Beto was given to him as a given nickname, which is evident because it shows up in some of its early school yearbooks and stuff. So there's that. So let's get that right off the bat. Ted Cruz sitting there claiming that somebody is misusing a nickname that was given to them is utter BS, and he knows it. Second, let's talk about that supposed DUI conviction for Beto O'Rourke from back in the 90s. First off, I'm going to say this. Everyone has their past. Everyone has things that they've done wrong in the past that they feel they need to atone for or that they've done wrong. Every one of us has done something that we probably don't feel proud about in our past. There are two things in Beto O'Rourke's past that he is definitely not proud of, but he has not hidden it from anybody. He's not hiding from it. In fact, he's made it very clear about his past. So let's get to that DWI conviction. Back in the 90s, he was arrested for driving while intoxicated. Many Americans have run into this. Many Americans have been arrested for drunk driving. Now, I'm not forgiving what he did. That's wrong. What he did was wrong. But here's the thing. He was given a deferred adjudication over 15 years ago. And what that means is after a certain amount of time, after you haven't gotten in trouble again, those charges disappear. So there was actually no conviction on his record for DWI. In fact, that is another complete misrepresentation from the Ted Cruz campaign. As well, you move on, you go on from that. You sit and think about it, though. He wants to sit there and make like this guy had a mistake some 15 years ago, and that it's an issue now. I received for something much more minor, really, but a traffic violation. I received for adjudication. It was over a 3-month period, and that's no longer on my driving record. And that happened back when I was, in my teens. And the reason it was considered something that he wanted to do, the deferred adjudication thing, was because I was apparently over the speed limit in a school zone. So you ask me, this guy's served his debt on that one. Okay. If he didn't get in trouble again, which he didn't, or he'd be in jail, I think everything's done there. I think Ted Cruz can just shut his mouth and quit running his mouth on that bullshit. Next, I want to discuss the burglary charge, or the burglary arrest for burglary and things like that. No charges ever came of that. The prosecutors declined to press any kind of charges against Beto, and that's that on that case. But here's the thing: Ted Cruz and his people are out there peddling the BS line that it was armed robbery, that he went in there and robbed a place with a gun, and that he got convicted for it and all this and that. But it was such a minor and petty offense, the prosecutors didn't even waste their time pressing charges. So these are just a few things, just a very few of the things that are being peddled about Beto O'Rourke. And I just want to sit there and point out how these are not accurate, how these are fake. You want to talk about fake news. The stuff coming from Ted Cruz's campaign right now is fake news. Why is he doing this? Because he is scared that Beto O'Rourke is actually going to beat him. And what would that do to the Republican Party in Texas to see somebody as supposedly as strong as Ted Cruz getting taken out by a Democrat in this state? The solid red state that is Texas is now being moved from for sure red to leaning red. And that's happening on Ted Cruz's watch. If Beto O'Rourke was going up against John Cornyn, I guarantee you this would not be happening. There would be Beto O'Rourke wouldn't even be close to winning this race. But Ted Cruz has been a terrible senator. He has done absolutely nothing for the state of Texas, done nothing but help himself since he took office in 2012. And people are going to be like, well, Jake, what are you talking about? You're a liberal. What do you know about Ted Cruz? Well, here's one thing. I voted for him in 2012. I actually voted for the guy. And that is not a fabrication whatsoever. I voted for Ted Cruz back then, thinking he could do something good because he was claiming he was going to help America, that he was going to make our government work for us. But what did he do? He went there and shut down the government. That's one of the first things he wanted to do after he took office. If you ask me, that's terrible. That's not helping anybody. That's not helping the country. That's not helping Americans. That's not helping the American worker. That's definitely not helping, our military or anything like that as well. But, these are just a few things, though, that Ted Cruz is done. He supported things like the TPP, which I did not support. I know our previous president supported it. I did not. And I wrote him a letter about it. All I got was a small little blurb back saying Ted Cruz, that Mr. Cruz supports the TPP. And many other things that he came out and claimed that he supported. And when I needed help with things, he wouldn't help. I sent him a letter over my wife's emergency appendectomy a few years ago, and the only person that responded was the office of the governor. Ted Cruz would not respond to my messages, my calls, or anything. Ted Cruz has done nothing but support himself. All Ted Cruz does is support his own people. If you voted for him, he supports you. If you match what he thinks you deserve, if you're getting what you deserve, he's there for you. But unfortunately, if you're a Democrat or a woman or happen to be, part of the LGBT community, Ted Cruz has not been there, and he will not be there. He does not care. And the thing about Beto O'Rourke, which the cool thing is, he's a very inclusive guy. He's in there talking about unity and how to make America better and how to bring people together, not how to separate, not how to, demonize. He wants to help bring Americans together as opposed to send them, out somewhere, sit there and make them fend for themselves. as he said in the rally I went to the other day, he wants to give everybody a voice. He doesn't want to just listen to Democrats. He wants to listen to Republicans as well. And he wants Texas to work for everybody. So if you're in Texas and you're looking to vote for Senate, you're looking to vote this November, keep Beto O'Rourke in mind. Don't listen to the BS being peddled by Ted Cruz. Most of what he's peddling over there are lies, or at least at the bare minimum, misrepresentations of who Beto O'Rourke really is. Anyhow, that's how I see it. You may not see it that way, but that's definitely how I see it. That's what the facts show. The facts show that Beto O'Rourke was never convicted of either of those crimes. That, in fact, there was no such charge of armed robbery or anything like that. There was only a DWI charge, and he got a deferred adjudication for that. He served his time on that and moved on. So, with that said, I see nobody actually decided to watch this live stream. But anyhow, thanks for watching the video. I will, hopefully it gets put up. Hopefully YouTube doesn't screw me around on that one. And this live video will go up on the YouTube channel. Anyhow, have a great day, and I'll see you down the road.